everybody. It's been a while since I've made a video. I've had some ideas for some to make, but I just haven't had an opportunity. As you may know, if you follow me more closely on Instagram, I've changed careers. I've been very busy working. So this video that I'm making now, the topic I've wanted to talk about for a while because it actually became relevant during my training. And it's something that we with ileostomies get asked a lot or inquire about. Usually it's more pertaining to like relationships and intimacy, but just generally speaking, I see it a lot. And the general question is like, when do you tell somebody about your condition, whether that just be Crohn's or more specifically, that you wear the bag. And in this case, it's just in general, because I don't like date or anything, so I don't have to worry about that. But still, when you meet people, and in my case, usually what happens is sooner or later my eating hobby comes up, and people want to know, how did that come about? Why did you start doing that? And then that's obviously part of the story, and that's usually how people find out. In my case, it's not really something I plan on telling them. It's just that in getting to know me and learning about my eating, that just kind of follows. But when I was going to this course that I had to do, it was about a 2-week course. That's kind of something I thought about. I didn't know how big it was going to be, or how many of your classmates you're working with. And I was thinking, if it's one of those situations where like they might have you stand up and introduce yourself, and just give the little 2-3 minute talk about your background, I was wondering if like maybe that's something that you would want people to know. So if anything weird does come about, like just if it becomes visible or makes noise, or those kind of things that you deal with, just if everybody knows, it might not seem weird, and it's if you just have like this big lump under your shirt, that might be weird. But if they know what it is, they might just whatever, it's nothing. So I've been thinking about that going into the course, and it was actually a pretty large class, so we didn't have to do any kind of intros or anything like that. So it didn't really become any kind of a factor, other than just kind of like I said before, like I might meet some people individually and talking to them. Sooner or later, food comes up, and again, it just transitions there, and that's just, it's usually a lot of times that's how people find out about mine. Unless they follow me on social media or something. Obviously, I'm open about it. I talk about it, and do all kinds of stuff that I consider like tests and experiments and so on. But anyway, one of the days, like fairly late into the course, it starts early in the morning, so we're getting tired by then. And if you have an ileostomy, you've probably experienced where sometimes like just changing postures will just kind of get things going. And I was tired, and we have to take a shuttle over there, and I was there plenty early, so I was just kind of sitting at my desk like this, and just kind of my head down a little, more bent over than I normally am, and it's not dead silent in the room, but it's pretty quiet. Like this, maybe a few people talking here or there, and I don't know, maybe there were like upwards of 20 people in there, about half full, and my bag made a really loud. To us, it's a pretty normal sound and not really that weird, but I guess like what you probably could call like a wet fart or like a gurgling sound. And it wasn't that loud, but it was more of just because the room was so quiet. It came out very noticeable. And I just heard someone from like, when I did it, I was just kind of like, uh-oh, like that was loud. And when that happened, I could hear somebody in the back of the room say something like, "Damn, this motherfucker just shit on himself," or something like that. And I relay there, just kind of like, "Oh no," because I in my 3 years, I've never really been in a situation like that, like whether it be work or something, where it's like dead silent, and your bag starts making noise, and you're around people that don't know about it, or that it might be weird or something like that, and you just hear like kind of like a few people smirk or laugh, and I was just kind of like, oh man, like I didn't know how to react. Like I said, it was the first time, and I wasn't even really embarrassed. I was just trying to think of like, what what do I do? Because like I said, for me, it's normal. So I just waited a few seconds, and I was like, well, I think I'm just gonna turn around and just tell them about it. So I did. I turned around and just kind of lifted my shirt a little bit, and said that, I have Crohn's disease. I lost my colon 3 years ago, and sometimes it makes noise, but no, I didn't shit on myself. Just kind of shrugged, and everyone just kind of looked at me like, okay, right, fine, all right, I guess. So it just kind of wasn't really a big deal, but it was just interesting because I had thought if I had the opportunity to just to tell everyone about it that I was going to be going to school with, because I thought you might be working with these people closely, which just like any kind of school or class, like some of them for whatever reason you just kind of get to know better than others, but collectively as a group it was a large enough group that I didn't really know everyone. But yeah, that was really kind of my first situation that was kind of embarrassing and funny like that. But a little bit later into the course, when they broke us up into other things, one of the ones that I had to do, there were only four people, well, four students and the instructor, and it was just like in a very small classroom. And he did give us the opportunity to, why don't you stand up, say a little bit about yourself, and just give us a little intro. And I thought, maybe this time I will. This is opportunity. So I did. I stood up. It was all guys as well, and I just stood up, said my name, kind of gave the intro, and I said, this might sound a little weird, but being in a small class setting like this, I just said, I have Crohn's disease. I had surgery to have my colon removed, and I'm wearing a ileostomy bag. When it's quiet in here, it might make some gurgling noises. They might be funny, or you might see me kind of, adjusting and kind of touching, in this area, and that's, that's all that's going on. Just, I wear that bag, and sometimes it'll make noise. Sometimes I have to adjust it. If it does, you might laugh. That's, and that's okay. But just, I just want everyone to know what's going on, not, not kind of wonder like what's with the weird guy back there, or, I don't know what they would think, because again, for us it's normal now, but I did that, and everyone's just kind of looking at me, nodding their head like, all right, yeah, whatever, man. And at some point during the course, it did kind of make it wasn't nearly as loud or like, again, for lack of a better term, wet sounding as the other one, but if yours, I'm sure if you're watching this, you've had an ileostomy, or you might already have one. But if you don't, in my case, a lot of times when it does just kind of like pass gas, it doesn't really make like, what you're used to as a fart sound. But mine almost sounds like when somebody's like in a deep sleep, just like that exhale, and just, that's the closest thing that I can describe to it. So usually if there's just some noise around, nobody's going to hear it. But, being very quiet in that room, it did just kind of make a loud, like, kind of, sort of sound, something like that. Maybe a little bit more of a fart sound than that, but more of an exhale is kind of how mine sounds. And I, again, I was kind of like, oh, is anyone going to look? And I kind of looked around thinking that somebody, might kind of look, and that'll kind of register, oh, that's what that guy was talking about. But, nobody even flinched. And, and again, being all guys, I was thinking just farts are funny, so I was prepared that, that somebody might laugh. But again, knowing that they know that that's all it is, that's, I wouldn't care if anybody laughed. But no, giving that little intro seemed to just, people were like, okay, that's fine. And then when it did kind of make noise, nobody even flinched or peeked over. Or, sometimes it's just human nature. You hear a noise and you look, and nobody even did that. So I don't know. That's just the question or the topic is, when's a good time to tell somebody, and how do you tell somebody? So I don't know. It's different for everybody in every situation, I guess. As I said, for me, a lot of times it just comes natural when they learn about my my eating. They question, how did that come about? And again, it just kind of flows from there. But otherwise, I don't know when is a good time. That's kind of why I made this video, just to see if anybody has any input or any comments. Like I said, I'm really open about mine, so I kind of like that approach. If I'm ever in that situation where it might make noise or become relevant, given the opportunity, I think I would like to just tell everyone and let them know, because usually if you do, especially if they don't see it, I think sometimes it might be shocking. Just if you've never seen one, they might kind of stare at it or kind of be in awe, or just wonder, what is that, or what does it look like. But I don't know. I did that, and it went over pretty well. But again, I'm not the kind of person that really cares or gets that embarrassed, although that first one was was a little embarrassing. But like I said, for us, that's just the life we live. And sometimes it makes noise, sometimes people think it's weird or it's gross, and that's just how it is. But yeah, for me, I guess, like I said, as upfront as you can be about it seems to kind of diffuse that, or at the very least, if people know that that's all it is and they can joke about it, because I'm sure, like, if you have friends and maybe like your friends can get away with saying things or cracking jokes that like a total stranger wouldn't, because they know you and you're friends with them, that kind of thing. Like working with some of my coworkers on the truck, it's the same kind of thing. Once they get to know me, they know we can joke about it. It's not a big deal. One of them even called me, obviously joking, in the context it was fine. I think he called me a stinky bastard. But it wasn't like out of anger. It was, we were just going. I had to burp it, so I rolled down the window, and he kind of jokingly, "Oh, you stinky bastard," and rolls his window down at the same time. But but he's being funny. Like that's his way of kind of just, we're joking about it. Just like I say, kind of guy humor, fart humor. So, but obviously, if I was in a situation and a total stranger said that to me, you might not take it the same way. But yeah, just like I've said, I just kind of wonder if anyone has any input, or if you have any stories of how you've told people, or if it's gone well or it hasn't gone well. Just something I was thinking about, and there's just two examples. In the time that it's taken to start this new career, where that actually kind of became relevant. So I don't know. Hopefully, you found that interesting, or it might give you some ideas if you're new to having an ileostomy, or you're going to be having one, and it's something you've thought about. I think it's definitely personal and situational, but just those are some examples in my life after 3 years. So hopefully it's relevant, or you can find it useful, or even just funny. Maybe you've had something similar happen. I've also been in situations where, like, maybe like at a grocery store or something, you're checking out and it starts to kind of fart and make noise, and then I'll just kind of start talking a little bit louder to the person to try to hide it. The fact that it sounds like I'm just standing there farting, essentially. So obviously you're not going to just tell someone that you're only going to be speaking to for like 3 minutes all about it. So it's, like I said, it's situational, I guess. But those are just some experiences I had, and I just thought it might be fun to share. Also, just because I don't have the opportunities to make videos as often, and thought it would just be a good video I can make really quickly. So till the next one, hopefully I'll get some more eating ones going soon. Or if there are any other topics, or if anybody has any specific questions for me, feel free to reach out, and either on here or on Instagram, and I can make a video specifically about that, and give me more ideas for more content and things to share. So anyway, until I see you next time,